Summer break is coming soon. So if you don't want to be 5 days into summer wishing your kids would already go back to school, you don't want to miss this video. Hi, I'm back. Rachel, mother far from home, 5 kids, language of listening parent coach, certified toddler and sleep consultant, routine mentor to lots and lots of mamas. And we want to talk about summer, okay? This is important. I'm gonna hit right into it. The number one mistake, not like in order of like worst to best, but just like in order of how I outlined the video. The first mistake that parents make is they look at summer as a whole and not a daily thing. And so this means, you know, you're going into summer, you're like, okay, in June they're gonna go to camp. In July we're gonna go away for a vacation, and we're gonna go to this wedding, and that's the summer. And so you think of it as from a bird's eye view, but then you forget that, like, I don't know, a huge percentage of the time is just that daily time at home. And this is a big mistake, because if you don't think going into summer how the days are gonna look, they just can stretch into nothingness. That what initially feels so free and unstructured begins to feel chaotic. Kids don't just necessarily get the whole, it's summer, like we're gonna relax, we're gonna sleep late. No, they don't care. They might still get up early, and then they're home more. So especially if they're older and they used to be in school, when they're home more, they're even making more mess. So it's like there can feel like there's actually less time to get things done, but all the same things that needed to be done still need to be done, and the kids are there and it can be a mess. So this is a big mistake. Yes, look at summer as a whole for your whole calendar, but you need to think about how your days are gonna go in the summer as well. And the second point, which I don't feel like it doesn't contradict, but you know, forest and the trees, the trees make, okay. So the second point is actually the reverse of the first point, is that we can think about summer in terms of day to day, but not as a whole. So have you ever had that experience where you feel like, oh, like there's plenty of time to do XYZ, like I'm totally gonna get to that, that's fine. And then all of a sudden time crunches and you're like, I didn't do this and I didn't do this and I didn't do this. Summer is something you want to think at from a bird's eye view as a whole and from a day-to-day view. You want to do both. If you just do one and not the other, you might get to the end of the summer and not done all the things that you wanted to do. Or you might plug in the big things and feel like the day-to-day is so miserable, you're just wishing the summer away. And none of us want to feel like we're wishing away our kids' childhoods just because we're stressed. We don't want to do that. The third mistake moms can make going into summer is that you haven't actually thought about goals or objectives or what you want the summer to be like. And I know this can sound like, but really, Rachel, like we gotta turn everything into a goal. But to some extent, the direction you set for yourself is the direction that you go. And if you're wandering around aimless, you might be going around in circles. We want to think about what we want our summer to look like. Are there maybe some things that we want to do, to learn, to see, to be together? You know, you want to actually give some time to this instead of like, you know, the school year is crunching at the end. You know, it's like May is always so manic, May is crazy, and then by the time it's over you're like woohoo, and then you haven't given any thought to the summer. Days can flow endlessly, tons of screen time can happen because there's no other real plan, and so then now you got kids doing lots of screen time and you got guilt because you know lots of screen time isn't good. Like the jury is in, it's always been in, it's not. And so we have to think about these things in advance so that we don't just automatically not end up having done anything. Like imagine you get to the end of the summer and you didn't go do the most summery thing in your area. You know, you don't want that to happen. So you need to actually think about what are some of your goals and some of your objectives for the summer. As I'm talking about this, I have in a couple of weeks coming, or depending on when you're watching this, I have a workshop that I've created that tons of moms have bought, and it is called Summer Rhythms. It is not out yet, but it will be soon. Check your description and get on the wait list, because I'm going to talk exactly how to plan your summer so that you get all of your responsibilities met with tons of relaxation and fun without all of the day-to-day drama and wishing your kids would just get back where they came from in the fall and spring. So the fourth mistake that moms can make is that they just let the kids be wild and carefree, but in a way that actually creates intense overwhelm, and it doesn't end up having that same easygoing feel. So now, of course, this all depends whether you're a working mom, you work out of the home, you work in the home. If your kids are little, they're always home anyway, or if they're older or their preschool hours are different, or they're not in school. So as adults, we could say, you know, I'm gonna just relax. I'm gonna do a little bit less. I'm gonna, you know, be a little bit more calm. But if we lack some of the structures that are in place, then our kids can actually just go a little feral. And now I have a daughter and 4 boys, so I know all about feral. I know all about it, okay? And so if we're not careful, it can just go a little bit too far. It can go past a more relaxed summer rhythm into madness. And this is when your brain is like, I need to escape, I need to escape. What can I do to get away from this? What can I do to make this stop? Screens. Screens are gonna make this stop. Screens. And then you get into a whole cycle where you feel guilty because they're wasting their whole summer inside on screen. You don't want to do this. So you want to make sure there's just enough structure in your day that the things get done and that the kids aren't going so crazy that you can't cope. The fact is, like, modern life has made it, I don't know how else to say this, where everybody's coping well except mom. It's like, the kids are fine. They don't care if they're wild or they're not wild. They don't care if they don't help out. They don't care if they spend all their day on a screen. They don't care if they, you know, slide into oblivion. Moms care. Moms care. And so you need to take yourself into account this summer. So the fifth mistake moms can make, and this is specifically for working moms, is that working moms, because your days are going to be mostly the same, you're still, unless you have slightly different hours, you're still doing the same away from home. It can feel like this time is just going to pass, this summertime, where nothing is different. And so you don't want that. So I want to encourage you, even though you're still working the same amount of hours and it's just the weather outside is different, but for your kids, this is a special time and you want to embrace that season. So I want you to make sure and not make the mistake of just letting things go by and not treating it any different. So while some parts of your day are gonna be the same and they're not gonna change, you wanna make sure in those evening times or those weekends to add in things that make it feel like a summer, to really do those sort of quintessential, stereotypical things that flag your childhood memory about summer. You know, I'm thinking like popsicles and ice cream and the lake or the beach or sprinklers or whatever it is. You just need to, wherever you're at, depends. I'm in Florida, so for us this is beach, boat, pool, whatever is what Florida summers are made of. So if I will also have to be doing some work in the summer too. It doesn't just summer come and I do nothing. But I'm gonna make sure in those other times when I'm not, that we're really taking hold of everything that summer has to offer. So I just wanna encourage you, as we're getting ready, thinking of going into summer, you've probably already thought about and booked them for camp. Some places you gotta book them in summer camp the year before. You probably already thought about and booked where you're going on vacation, but I want you to think about the other things of family life that have to do with summer. And make sure and sign up for my wait list for Summer Rhythms if you want some hand holding and how to structure your days, your months, and your entire summer so that you feel like you've got everything done and had a lot of fun. Be sure to check out my next video on screen time's do's and don'ts for your summer.